What's going on, guys? The Miz is back. Just wanted to come on and talk a little football today. You know what? This is what I'm going to say about yesterday. It doesn't matter. You knew what you were walking into. We know where the season is gone. And you know what? There's no reason to sit around and be angry and rant, scream, sweat, curse. Because guess what? There's a future for this franchise. We've had a history, and we will have a future. We've won Super Bowls, and we will win another Super Bowl. And nobody's jumping off the boat. Not off this organization's boat. And that's what I'm coming at today. I'm ready to move on and look ahead. Who's the next GM? Will there be a new head coach? What players will be here? We will find out in the next 4 weeks what players want to return and what players are frauds. All right? Look, man, we have a monster draft coming up. We have something to look forward to. We know the team's in a bad place. We know Joe Judge has looked horrible. And it's time to move on from Gettleman. I've been a supporter. I don't blame the guy for everything. Time to go in a younger direction. I have a couple of things in mind. But first I wanted to say the one positive I took out of yesterday's game. No, I'm not Joe Judge. But that's the route I'm going to take. Our superstar number 26, Saquon Barkley. The man's legs are starting to come back. You seen it yesterday. He ran hard between the tackles. He gave you a very tough game. He showed you that he's willing to run up the middle and take the hits and go through. And you got you a nice stop-and-go touchdown out of the wide receiver spot. Yeah, garbage time. Yeah, maybe the Chargers backed off into a prevent and let him go. But did the man dance spike? No. The guy didn't even hug anyone. He ran off the field because Barkley is a winner, and he knows right now that we're a loser. And it bothers him. You could see it. That guy's the real deal, and I'm not giving him up for anyone. Because you got 16 teams in this goddamn league that are waiting for the Giants to pick up the phone and trade him or let him go. And that would be a mistake. He's only 24 years old. Give him another offseason to come back from that injury last year. We've said this before 1,000 times. Nobody's been punching this button more than me for a long, long time. This draft coming up, offensive line. I don't give a damn about any other position. You get a defensive end up in the top, you go get him. We need O-line. We need hog mollies, and we need at least 3 to 4 of them. That's what's up. Go fix this line this offseason. Create a little cap space to pick up a player here or there. In the mid-rounds, I'd like to add a running back. But Barkley's going nowhere. So a lot of you fans out there who say, oh, Barkley's done, trade him. And these are a lot of outsiders. Because a lot of fans are wishing that we trade him. Wishing that he could be on another team. Don't lie to me. Don't tell me there's not 20 other teams in this league that would kill to take a chance on Barkley. I'm not giving the man up yet. You build this kid an O-line. Maybe you add a running back to help him out. Maybe you bring back Booker. But here's the thing. That guy showed me a little something yesterday, and I'm hoping in the last 4 games he shows us some more. Look, is Joe Judge coming back or not? I don't know. But it starts upstairs. We all know Mara has done damage. I'm not telling you Mara doesn't want to win, because he desperately does. But I'll tell you what, Mara, you better do the right thing. You got to go out and get a real GM in here. And we got to bring in a program builder. Now, if you don't believe Judge is the guy, you got to go out and get a real head coach There aren't too many old school guys out there. Program builders. That's what we've always been built on, and that's what we need. And we haven't had a damn real man here since you pushed Coughlin out the door in a disrespectful way. And it seems like we're paying the price for that shit. I'm gonna speak straight to John Mara. Mara, I'm sure you've heard the message loud and clear. And if you haven't, well, you're gonna hear it next Sunday. Next Sunday in MetLife Giants Stadium, the Cowboys come in. Mara, you better go to that game. I want you to sit in your press box. Take the cotton out of your ears and look around that stadium. Because when there's 65,000 Cowboy fans in that stadium, that message is sent directly to you loud and clear from this Giants nation. We're done with this shit. It's over. We've had it. This is rock bottom. And we're looking for you to go change it. Bring in real football guys. The type of guys from outside the organization that are going to tell you, Mr. Mara, stand back. Let me run this organization. Let me scout. Let me draft. And let me do it my way. You no longer have a hand in anything. You just be the man in the suit that's around. Don't offer me your opinions. Don't tell me anything. I will tell you. That's the type of guy we need. And I'm going to give you a few candidates. No, I do not want Abraham promoted. He's been in the organization forever. Which tells me that Mara will have strings on his hands and use them like a puppet. The same way he's been using Gettleman. Which means Mara's hands will fully be involved and nothing's going to change. So I don't want to go within. Time to go outside. I'm going to tell you right now. You know what? Hey, it's my opinion. I want Louis Riddick. The man's young. He's connected to talent around the league. He's in tune with the scouting departments and players in college, okay? He has hands-on in the draft. He's young-minded. He understands that football has evolved into a different era. And he gets today's quarterback. And I'm not telling you a guy like Daniel Jones can't be a really good pocket passing play action quarterback. But you brought in the guy and you didn't provide him with any play action, any O-line, or any run game. So you failed the man. Okay? I like Riddick. I think he offers an entire different perspective. He comes from outside the Giants' history and their ways. And then right now the Giants need an entire new mind and an entire new direction. And that's exactly why I'll put Louis Riddick at the top. Alright? I'm going to give you two coach candidates. And I don't know if they go hand in hand with Riddick, but I'm just throwing out some names and ideas. These are two guys I like, and these are two guys I think the Giants need as a head coach if you're moving on from Judge. And I'm not someone who's telling you that Joe Judge doesn't deserve another year, but I'm seeing a lot of problems with the guy. Number one, you can't have a young team full of kids and rookies and also have a rookie head coach learning on the go. Because how can a young rookie coach learning on the go teach and develop young kids? And in the last year and a half, it doesn't seem to have worked. We've gone backwards this year from last year. We have not been developing. And we know there's problems in the scouting department. And this is why you need big changes. And sometimes when you're making big changes, you got to make changes across the board. You can't half-ass it. Not anymore. These are two names I'm going to throw at you. Number one is Sean Payton from the Saints. It might be time for him to move on. The Saints are not the same team. Breeze is gone. Now, unless he's going to go get Russell Wilson over to New Orleans, there's nobody in this draft that's going to help them win right away. I think that things are not the same there anymore. Sean Payton started with the Giants. And a lot of people want to say, oh, who wants to go to the Giants right now? They're a shit show. But guess what? If you're the man that comes to this great organization, and I don't care what anyone says, this is still a proud, great organization. 4 times Super Bowls in the last 33 years. You could say what you want. When it comes down to history in the NFL, Lombardi's matter the most. And the Giants are right at the top. Especially with the 2 they've taken away from Brady and an 18-0 Patriot team. You don't like to hear it if you're not a fan? Too bad. You're going to hear it. Sean Payton started here. You come back here. You revive this organization and you take this team back on a run to a Super Bowl somewhere here in the future. You go down as a great. And everyone knows when you win in New York City, you're a king forever. And that's a man that builds a program and knows how to build a winner. Number 2, and my personal favorite, and this is the guy I'd like to see the Giants go get. Go make that phone call to Michigan and get Harbaugh back here. Bring Harbaugh back to the NFL. Bring him to the New York Giants. You're coming to one of the biggest franchises, the biggest city in the world. You had a long building process in Michigan. You got them back to where they need to be. It's okay for you now to move on. You put them in good hands. Now you come down here and take a once proud organization from the dirt back to the top. And do what you do with the Giants, what you just did with Michigan, in a sort of way. And you go down as one of the greatest ever. You win a Super Bowl in New York for the New York Giants. That's bigger than almost any other organization in the country. And that's the bottom line, and that's the truth. Go get Harbaugh, pay him some good money, allow him to draft his apples. He's got to be in tune with whoever the next GM is. But he has input. He's not a nobody. He's a big name. He's old school. And his character fits the New York Football Giants. I would love to have Harbaugh here. We have a lot of young kids on this team. I ain't going to blow them up. You bring them back. All they need is someone to develop and groom them. And the quarterback is a big decision for whoever's coming in here. Jones has 1 more year. If you want to keep him, you try to develop him. You got to put the O-line in front of him. If you're moving on in free agency to a Russell Wilson, or if you're drafting one of these kids, now I'll tell you, I'm not a fan of any of these QBs in this draft. I'd rather either you're bringing in a Russell Wilson, you know, or you're waiting 1 more year. You try to build a team with your draft picks, and then you look for a quarterback in 2023. There's a better class of quarterbacks coming out. But the thing I want to tell you is you got to go heavy on the O-line in this draft. You got to cut the rusty parts off this team to free up a little money. You can't be scared. And the guy coming in here can't be afraid to make the changes that are necessary. Because when you've been rock bottom for these 2 years, there's no more being scared of making changes. Because any change can only be better than what we've had. So you know what? Instead of getting mad and ranting about how bad the team is and how horrible the decision-making judge has made, yeah, I know. He doesn't go for it on 4th and 2 in a season where we're going nowhere on the first drive where we're moving the ball. But yet, he'll take a shot at a fake punt, ridiculous-looking clowny play from 9-10 yards away. It makes no sense. I'm tired of seeing quadruple reverses, throws a screen to the dirt with a flea flicker 2 plays later that goes nowhere. It's a circus act. I get it. It's bad. And that's why the changes are coming. And once again, this Sunday, this fan base in the Northeast can make a huge statement, send a loud slap in the face to Mara that we are done, and you better clean house and do the right thing this time. When there'll be 65,000 Cowboy fans chanting defense in our home stadium. Let's see how that sits with Mara. Huh? Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, Mara, huh? We got one of the most loyal, greatest fan bases in the world in sports. And you've done us wrong. Too many years of it. Stop with the cheap coaches Go get a real guy, a program builder, and make up for the day that you kicked Coughlin out the door. Biggest mistake of your life. So I'm looking forward to the draft. And I wanted to say a quick thing about the draft, and it's too early for me to go into details about who we're drafting or any kind of mock draft. I'm not doing that till the end of the season, but I will say one thing. You're going to have 2 picks possibly in the top 7. And the Giants don't really have a large amount of salary space, cap space. You might free up some money. We might, scrape and make a few cuts. And if you're not going to keep a Jones, and you better have an idea in the next few weeks, you start looking for the trade. Because if you can move Jones for a 2 and a 4, something like the Jets did with Sam, you add 2 picks right there. Then you take one of your top 2 picks, because the Giants are not going to have the money to sign 2 top 6 picks in the rookie cap. So what you do is you make a smart move. You take one of those picks, you draft one of the top defensive ends if it comes to you, or a guy like Evan Neal, a Lindenbaum. I don't care if a Lindenbaum has to be a 10 or 11th pick. You don't think he's a 6th pick. If Lindenbaum's there, and that's the guy you think makes a huge dent in your O-line, you go get a Lindenbaum. That's a special center right there. Big time blocker. But you know what? That's for later. You take one of those top 2 picks in the top 7, and you trade back and get yourself a boatload. Okay? You're talking about a middle first round or somewhere around there, 9 to 12. You got teams like Carolina who might want to come up for a quarterback. Denver, if they don't go out in free agency. There will be teams. The Pittsburgh Steelers are looking for a young QB. The Steelers might even be interested in a Daniel Jones or a Denver Bronco if you decided that's not the guy you want to go into next year with. Again, that depends on who's coming in here, GM and coach. When you trade one of those picks and you get yourself a first rounder, a few picks down, a second rounder, another third rounder, maybe someone throws in next year's 3rd or 4th rounder, you could get a lot. And if you ended up trading Jones, you could get another 2 picks. The Giants can easily end up with 15 picks in this draft, which is what the Giants need. And they can load up a young team for the next regime that's coming in here. I'm not panicking for one of these QBs in the draft. If you don't see it, you can wait one more year. You have Jones here on his 4th year. You go with it. Look, people, it's been rough. It's been bad years, man. But what don't break you, make you. And we've seen the Giants have this type of shitty runs before. And 2 times it's happened. 2 times it's ended up in 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. And I'm a big believer in history repeats itself. And I believe in this organization. I'll wear my Barkley jersey and a Giants jacket and a hat to the day I die. I bleed blue for this team. Times may be rough. But I'm telling you, the bright days are coming. And we're not building for a 1-year run. We're building for a longevity. A decade of playoffs. That's what I want. We're going to go get that. And we're going to make these rough times a worth it memory. Whatever. We got to work through 4 more ugly nightmare games. But you know what? It ain't going to get worse than this. Sometimes you got to hit rock bottom to turn everything around and make the changes that are necessary. So maybe this year was the one. The blessing in disguise. But I'm a New York Giant for life. They've given me more memories than most organizations in this league. There are fan bases that wishes they've had the parades and Super Bowls we have. Even the sucker across the stadium, that ugly green team. So it is what it is. I ain't waited 54 years. I seen 4 in the last 33, second to only the New England Patriots in the NFL. So as bad as we are, there's still franchises chasing us. And they are still way behind. Giants for life. I'm looking forward to the bright days in the next draft. And I can't wait.